Hey everybody, this is TJR,
This is Superfan.
and it's kind of late right now.
It is.
We both just got finished watching the Fire Aid Relief Benefit Concert for victims of the wildfires here in Southern California. And we just thought we'd talk about the concert just as music fans.
Yeah.
But before we do, we want to make sure that we don't underscore the very serious reasons behind this concert happening. Again, we live here in Southern California. Wildfires are a fact of life here, just like earthquakes are.
Yeah.
They
Other
just-
places have hurricanes and tornadoes.
Yeah, and they can just happen. They can just happen here. And, this year, these wildfires that hit the, Southern California, LA areas were beyond anything that has ever happened in the past. I mean, just way beyond anything. And we were very lucky here that this time around, we were really nowhere near any of them. There have been some years in the past when they got close.
Yeah. I
There-
can think of 2007
Uh-huh.
when there was one point where we could walk outside and look in three directions and see fires.
Yeah. I remember there was one time, I even took some footage of it and even posted it years ago, where
Posted it.
we're just like this, the sky was just
It was red.
red, golden, a mix of red and gold. And it was just like eerie. It was like the apocalypse had happened. I was expecting the riders of the apocalypse to suddenly fly out of the smoke and haze. It looked that way. And again, not to underscore it, I'm just, trying to do my best to describe it.
Yeah. And where we're located, we're a couple miles from any hills.
Except the Anaheim Hills, which I remember
Well,
one time they were in
we're still
Anaheim
a couple-
Hills. Yeah.
That's still a couple miles away. We're
But-
kind of in the flatlands in between.
But you never know. You never know. There were times where it got close, but luckily we were like nowhere near any of it this time around, although we had, between the two of us, family members,
Yeah.
some of whom did have to be evacuated, some of them who were kind of on standby to be evacuated. And,
Yeah.
luckily the friends and family we had that we knew about weren't affected. They may have been evacuated, but they were okay. They got to come back to their homes. But many of them had friends that didn't get to come back to their homes.
Yeah.
So-
They weren't so lucky.
yeah.
They came back to devastation.
Yeah,
So-
we don't want to underscore any of the seriousness of this, but this concert, like a lot of benefit concerts in the past, was put together to help raise funds. It is streaming right now. You can still watch this on a lot of different streaming platforms. We watched it on Amazon Prime. I understand it's on Paramount Plus. I understand it's on Max. I
think
believe
it's on Hulu.
Hulu. I think so. I think you're right. I
It's
believe
on YouTube.
I believe you can watch it on YouTube. So we do want to talk about it, and if you've talked about it, we'd like to hear what you thought. But in doing so, we don't want to, like I said, underscore the seriousness of this. And, we would encourage you. I think we both really liked the concert a lot.
Yeah, we did.
overall, and I think we both would recommend it. And I think we both would also, of course, just say, please make a donation to help those who are less fortunate, whatever you can donate. But with that said, let's talk about the concert, and let's we went in without knowing too much about who was playing, which I think is the way to do it, because then you're surprised more.
Yeah, it's
And even with some of the artists that did play, there were like plenty of surprises, even within those performances that we weren't expecting. Right now, I'm thinking about Stevie Wonder,
yeah.
who, when he played Superstition, Sting joined him unexpectedly.
And the Manic Mushroom joined him as well.
Yes, your superfan is referring to Flea, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers did play earlier, but when they played Higher Ground, Flea joined them on bass guitar. Of course, the Peppers did a cover of that song back in the 90s, a killer, a killer cover of it. And Superstition is just one of the most killer songs in the world anyways.
It is.
But yeah, I didn't expect Flea to join them. But then, of course, how obvious, that he should.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I have to dovetail from that to this. Flea is, he's 62, and the Peppers are playing. And when he was playing with Stevie Wonder, he was fully clothed. But with the Peppers, he's wearing nothing but his chonies.
Well,
I know that's been a constant thing for him.
Yeah, there have been numerous times I've experienced it several times because
when he was wearing less.
Yeah, a sock basically.
Yeah, but at 62, he's playing in his underwear, in his chonies, and he's pulling it off. He's not. It's one thing when you're young. You can get away with that a whole lot more, but he's pulling it off even at 62. I got to give him props.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Yes. I don't think I could have pulled it off when I was young, much less now.
But,
he and I are the same age.
He is Flea.
He is Flea. Yes, he is, and there's no one quite like him. But yeah, I just have to give props to him just for still being able to pull that off, still having the balls to do it. Those are some of my surprises and things that impressed me. A few things. Do you have any that you want to bring up?
I was really impressed by Pink.
Yes, I was too. I was very much so. And she played. First, she was working with this guitarist, I guess, who's part of her band. I didn't know who he was. His name is Justin Derrico. He's been with her band, but he's also worked with a lot of people, but he's an insanely good guitarist. And so they first played not a cover, but they played one of her songs with just him on acoustic, her on vocals. And then and that song was called What About Us? And I'm looking at notes in case you're wondering. And then they did a cover of Me and Bobby McGee.
That was awesome.
That was very awesome. She did a fantastic Janis Joplin there with that one. But then and that was also just acoustic and vocals. And then she was joined by the whole band. The two of them were joined by the whole band. And they did an insane cover of Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. And that was just amazing. Just amazing.
Because all I've ever seen are the performances where she's dangling midair and it's like, okay.
Yeah, she made a joke about that before she started. She said, I'm going to keep my feet on the ground here. But in fact, that reminds me, there was let me see if I can find it here. There was an artist who played that I'd never heard of. Okay, yeah. So his name is Anderson Paak. And they were announced as Anderson Paak and Free Nationals. And I found out that Anderson Paak is a hip hop artist. Free Nationals is his backup band. And Free Nationals also released a solo album on their own, kind of like Bob Dylan with the band, where they had various guest vocalists on it. But the first song they do was just this really killer song. I don't know what the name of it was, again, because I'm hearing this for the first time. But Anderson Paak sits there on the drums and sings. He's not rapping, he's singing. He's singing really well. He's playing some insane drums. And I was just knocked out. I'm always knocked out by drummers who sing and play at the same time because to me, of all the instruments you could try to play and sing, that's got to be the hardest.
Rhythms plus
it's just got to be the hardest. But he was just doing an insane job with it. It was a very cool funk R&B song. I'm going to have to play it back and listen to it again so I can find out what the song was and try to look it up. After that, then he got off the drums. He rapped from there. There were some other guests that performed with him like Dr. Dre. But I liked the band. I thought they had just a very cool soul R&B sound. I just thought, hip hop's not my thing, but I was enjoying this performance a great deal because it was all real musicians.
Yeah.
Nothing pre-recorded. It just had just a natural, that feel to it that which is why I prefer to hear a band. I'm not into like having everything pre-recorded. Call me old school, if you will. But yeah, so that was a real nice discovery. And that's why I say, even if you don't know who someone is, don't just immediately fast forward. Give them a chance. Listen, you never know. You might hear something that makes you go, oh, wow. I mean, I always knew that Pink was good, although her music didn't necessarily appeal to me. But watching her do Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, just like, that was insane. I mean, she killed that. She killed it.
Well,
Anyways,
she
though.
killed the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Another cool thing that happened, and kind of historic. In fact, LA band Dawes, who is big favorite of Robert Kinsler, I remember texting him. I said, "Hope you're watching Dawes right now." And he said, "Yeah, I'm watching them." And they performed one of their songs, but then they were joined by Stephen Stills and Mike Campbell for a rendition of "For What It's Worth." And then after that, Graham Nash joined all of them for a rendition of Teach Your Children Well.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow.
That was a highlight too.
Yeah. And
we've actually had the pleasure of seeing Graham Nash perform that song
up
at
close.
the NAMM show.
At the NAMM show, yeah.
Like 5 feet away.
Yeah. That's another story.
Yeah.
Let's not get sidetracked here. But
yeah, it's always good to see that.
Yeah, but that was like actually kind of historic because it's probably been about 10 years.
Yeah.
Since Stephen Stills and Graham Nash have performed together. Yeah. So that was kind of historic right there. At one point, Billy Crystal came out. And actually, not at one point, at the very beginning, after the first act, he kind of introduced the show. He brought up the fact that he introduced the concert for New York, the 9/11 concert for New York. And when he first came out, I almost didn't recognize him. He was just wearing a hoodie and a wool cap.
Like a beanie?
A beanie, yeah. And he came out, and at first I was like, who's this guy? And then he started talking. I was, oh, that's Billy Crystal. And he said, the reason I'm dressed this way is because this is what I was wearing when I got evacuated, when I evacuated the family. And he said, his house, he mentioned his house is gone.
Yeah.
He lost his entire house. He is one of the victims of the wildfire. And there was after, when the wildfires first started happening and people started losing their homes, there was some real, I don't know how to put it, but just some real asinine comments about, well, it's only rich people. And no, it's not only rich people.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, my relatives who lived in
they were in Monrovia.
Monrovia, yeah. They're not rich, not by any stretch of the imagination. They got evacuated. They were lucky their home did not get destroyed. But yeah, there were some real asinine comments about that, and just don't believe that. Don't believe that crap. Don't believe that crap.
Some of the areas, they may be wealthy.
Some of them were wealthy, yeah. Not all of them.
But not all of the areas within those areas are wealthy.
And yeah, that's true too. There are wealthy areas of Los Angeles, but there are way more areas that are not wealthy, and there's tons of businesses, schools. Like I said, this year was just beyond belief.
Yeah,
the level of devastation that occurred. But we'll get back to the music. One thing that was like really frustrating is Earth, Wind, and Fire was so good.
Oh, they were phenomenal.
They were phenomenal. And that's another thing. I don't want to use the O word. I like to say mature or experienced.
The more experienced performers.
More experienced performers. Sometimes what happens as music artists get older, their voices change because they get older. They don't sound like they did when they were young. But I have to admit,
the best of us.
But I have to admit, Earth, Wind, and Fire, their voices, and a lot of them are original members that were singing. I think there might have been one person who wasn't, who was younger, but they still have their voices. And they were singing great. The band was great. And it frustrated me that they had to do a medley of hits versus playing the entire songs. I would have rather just maybe one or two songs or three songs in full than do this medley that they did. They did it well. They did it extremely well. But
that may have been their choice.
and it probably was their choice. But it was like, for me, it was frustrating when they're playing Shooting Star to not get to hear the whole song, because it's a favorite of mine and it's one of the most badass songs ever.
Yeah.
And to not hear it in its entirety was like, was frustrating for me, but I get it, but still, they were amazing.
Yeah, and the sets were very short.
Sets were short, yeah. Many artists
two or
did.
3 songs. I think it was a time limit.
Oh yeah, well, there's a lot of artists that performed.
Yeah.
And the entire thing is maybe about 3 to 4 hours, roughly, or so. It went by fast.
5 hours, I think.
Okay, it went by fast. I mean, we weren't keeping
to 5.
that close track, but it went really, really fast. But yeah, one thing that happened that at first it wasn't even announced, because I don't think they introduced them. There was no introduction like there were a lot of the acts. But we're watching a group of musicians playing, and I recognized, okay, that's Dave Grohl on drums. But I think we were, and I think it was St. Vincent singing the first song.
Yeah.
But we didn't realize, oh, this is Nirvana. That's Dave Grohl. That's Chris Novoselic. That's Pat Smear. And these are the remaining members of Nirvana. And then they had different vocalists come up and do a song each with them. I think they ran through 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah, I believe it was the singer for the Pixies
That came on after?
that came on, the blonde that
Yeah.
came on after.
Yeah.
And then Violet Grohl, who was phenomenal.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. And, but yeah, this was like, unlike a lot of the acts where they had a big introduction, they didn't introduce this. It just
was, and you had to figure out.
Yeah, you had to figure it out. It's just like, okay, here's these people playing. Wait, who is this? What is this? Oh, this is Nirvana.
It was
Yeah.
like halfway through, and we're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this is a Nirvana reunion with different lead singers for each song. And I think they did 3 to 4 songs roughly. And again, we just watched this. Again, it's all a blur and it's late and we're tired. But we just wanted, like I said, wanted to talk about it while it's all fresh in our minds. But yeah, that was like a real surprise. I don't think that was on any bill anywhere. I don't think that was anywhere listed that would be happening.
No.
So that was a total surprise.
And U2 was the first donation of the night.
Yes, U2,
And
Billy.
they set the bar high.
Yes, they did. Billy Crystal mentioned we just got a donation from a little Irish band called U2, and they donated $1 million.
Oh, no doubt.
That's right, no doubt. A big surprise, because they haven't played together in what? How long has it been since they last probably toured? Maybe 10 years or so?
Maybe, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, and if I'm wrong, correct us. But I was surprised at how tight they were. They really played like they'd actually been rehearsing for a while. They played as if they'd actually been performing for a while. They were really, really tight.
Now, I do see that they did reunite last year for a set at Coachella.
Okay, all right.
But that was the first time they had performed together in over 10 years.
Yeah, but still, I thought they were really good.
That was.
And I'm not a No Doubt fan. I like their hits, but I thought they were really good. I thought they were very tight. I guess one other thing I want to mention is the show closed with Lady Gaga, and we've been jumping around, by the way, because we're
all over the place.
We're all over the place with this. Like I said, we just saw it. It's late. We're tired. But Lady Gaga, who closed the set, her last song, she said, I wanted to perform something hopeful, but I didn't feel that I had any songs that reflected what I wanted to say. And she said, so my fiance and I wrote this song.
That was a really good song.
And it was a really good song. And I think it was called Time to Heal. Again, this is a brand new song. I'm pretty sure it was a brand new song. Never performed anywhere else as far as I can tell. Heard it for the first time. And it was a very upbeat, it had a very 60s.
Yeah, kind of poppy.
Pop sound, a little bit Beatlesque. Not heavily Beatlesque, but a very 60s, but a little bit Beatlesque heavy, but a very heavy 60s pop sound, in my opinion. Very upbeat and happy. And it was a good song. I'm really looking forward to this getting released
Yeah.
in whatever studio recording she does of it.
Hopefully she does do it.
I hope so. I can't imagine.
But she did say something about we're just performing it here.
Well, yeah, but I hope that it. I can't imagine not releasing it. In fact, it could be a very good anthem for all of this.
Yeah, that's
The song
very
would serve as a
true.
very good anthem, and to me, it makes sense to release it and donate proceeds. Again to the wildfire aid relief.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, and it's such a good song, and I think it would appeal to so many different generations. I thought it was just a really good song, and I can't wait. In fact, I'm going to play it again. Maybe before we hit the hay, I'm going to play it again. But I'm certainly going to play it again tomorrow, and be on the lookout for it to see if there's a release of it.
Even if they just do
I mean, they could just release the audio from the show.
audio from the show.
But-
I mean, it was
Yeah, but I would love to see a studio. Love to hear a studio recording of it. Yeah, I would love to hear a studio
and
recording.
honestly, I wonder if there is something.
I can't imagine there not being a soundtrack release for this concert. In between acts, there were of course filmed interviews with not only first responders but volunteers
And victims.
and victims of the wildfires, talking about what happened to them. And so, yeah, it was very well coordinated, very well put together. It is, like I said, still out there on a lot of streaming services, and it's probably on YouTube. But I would recommend you watch it, and I would just also ask that, if you enjoy any part of it, please make whatever donation you can to help those, less fortunate than you and less fortunate than us. We certainly have made our donation, and so we just encourage everybody to do so.
5 hours, 49 minutes, and 53
It was that
seconds.
long, really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's almost 6 hours.
Wow. No wonder we're tired.
Yeah.
It didn't seem that long. Okay. But anyways, though, we're rambling now. I think we should stop. But we just wanted to talk about this concert. And again, we don't want to underscore the seriousness behind why this concert exists. But we would recommend it as music fans. Just go check it out. It's really good. And make a donation. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.